There is an 8th day to every week that nobody mentions and even fewer remember. What have you been doing that your mind is so desperate to forget? Welcome to Spooktoberfest. Hey everybody, welcome back to the educational half of Rum and Board. I'm Hawk. Let's learn how to play One Night Ultimate Werewolf. One Night Ultimate Werewolf is one of my favorite games. It's based on the Mafia-like Ultimate Werewolf, but condensed into a single round. Each game takes about 10 minutes, so you and your group can play as many rounds as you can handle and still have time to move on to something else. But you won't want to, because this is the best game you've ever played. Also, unlike some of those other games, nobody gets kicked out or eliminated, so they don't have to sit around bored. We don't call this show Rum and Board. Oh, who chose this name? Who did chose this name? Wow. Who did chose this name? Let's move on. Let's move on. One Night is a social deduction and deception game where everyone is in the dark until the very end. It's set in a sleepy medieval village that's been infested by werewolves. The villagers want to kill the werewolves want to live, and the tanner wants to die. And nobody knows who's who. You can see how this might get convoluted. Setup. First things first, you'll want to download the free and totally sweet One Night Ultimate Werewolf app. I'll put some links in the description. You can play without the app, but you can also pass the salt without the pepper. Take your dog on a walk in somebody else's apartment. Train your cat to poop in the sink. Leave a bottle of wine opened. Don't ever cork it. Drink it again the next day. Invite Uncle Ralph over for Thanksgiving, knowing what you're getting into. Pass up free samples at Costco. Wear socks with sandals. Serve red with fish. Punch a small mammal. Give candy to a baby. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. The app will walk you through what would otherwise be a somewhat confusing night phase, reminding everybody what the rules are, waking people up in the right order, and backing up that functionality with a bomb-diggity soundtrack, sure to get your blood pumping and the werewolf hairs on your back bristling. Oh, you're not a werewolf? My bad. Oh wait, no, that's wrong. It's like... Now, for the actual setup. Choose which characters you want to inhabit your village, and then shuffle them together. Everyone gets one secret character card, which they look at and then place face down on the table in front of them. The remaining 3 cards are placed face down in the middle. So the only 2 pieces of information that players know off the bat are what character they started out as, and the crippling amount of student debt that playing this game is certainly not helping them to pay off. The night. It's nighttime. Close your eyes. No, seriously, all the players close their eyes at this point. Spooky and mysterious things are about to transpire. Let the mesmerizing voice of the narrator guide you along. Based on your character, you might have the option to wake up for a bit and perform some thematic night action. Unless you got a villager card. They're really pretty boring and just sleep all night. The day. Cock-a-doodle-doo. Everyone wakes up, opens their eyes, and the debate begins. This is several minutes of unstructured conversation. The only rule is that nobody is allowed to look at any character card. There are also some fun little character tokens that you can use however you want. One recommended use case is claiming someone else is the werewolf without any substantiating evidence and slamming the werewolf token on their character card as hard as you can. Usually during the day, the non-werewolf townsfolk will try to combine their limited pieces of information to figure out what happened the night before and deduce who is a werewolf. Players can freely lie, and you can basically assume that the werewolf players are lying as much as possible, as well as the tanner, whose goal during this phase is to seem as suspicious as possible. Once the discussion time is up, it's time for some blood. Simultaneously, everyone votes for the player they want to kill. Whoever has the most votes actually dies. In the case of a tie, all tied players die. Then, tiles are turned over and the winners are revealed. But things aren't always what you thought they were. During the night, cards have been switched, traded, and swapped. And during the day, you've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, lied to, and just been generally clueless the entire time. The villagers win if a werewolf dies, regardless of any other carnage. Unless nobody was a werewolf, in which case the villagers only win if nobody dies. The werewolves win as long as none of them die. The tanner, who hates his job, his life, and the medieval age that he's stuck in, only wins if he dies. His job really sucks that much. Tanning leather smells horrible all the time. He goes home, smells like tanning leather. Goes to bed, smells like tanning leather. He eats breakfast, his eggs smell like tanning leather. Doesn't make sense. The eggs were near leather, but they smell like it. The characters. There are some characters in the One Night Village. Most of them do something special during the night. The narrator reminds you what action to take when you wake up, so it's not a big deal if you forget what powers your character has. But if you forget what character you have, that's really embarrassing. Not even the narrator can help you with that one. You'll probably just have to blurt out that you forgot, and deal with the judgment of your other players as they have to reshuffle the entire game and start over. Without further ado, Villager. These guys suck. They took a lot of Ambien before they went to sleep, and they just sleep. Werewolf. They all wake up at the same time and look at each other, so they can work together as a team if they want during the day. If there's only one werewolf, then they get to look at one of the cards in the center as a consolation prize. Tanner. He wins if he dies. It's as easy as 1, 2, try to seem as suspicious as possible without seeming so suspicious that it's obvious that you're the tanner and nobody votes for you. Tanner. I hardly know her. That's weird. I don't know if we... Minion. A friend of the werewolves. He gets to see who the werewolves are, but they don't get to see him. He wins if they win. I think there was a movie made about this guy? Masons. These brothers wake up in the middle of the night and look at each other. Because they're brothers. And brothers that brick together stick together. Seer. May peek at another player's card, or 2 cards in the center. This card is serious business. Jordan, what have we talked about? Robber. May trade his card with another player's card, and then peek at his new card. Robber. I hardly know her. Oh, god damn it, we already used that joke and it wasn't funny the first time, Jordan. Troublemaker. May trade any 2 other players' cards. The robber-troublemaker combo leads to some pretty excellent nighttime chaos. Drunk. Stumbles out of quiz night at the local pub. Falls face first into the gutter. Wakes up completely different person. Should have played responsibly. He trades his card for some random card in the middle. Doesn't look at it. Doesn't know how to look at it. Too drunk. He's the drunk. Insomniac. At the end of the night, the insomniac looks at the card that's in front of her. Sometimes it's the insomniac. Sometimes it's not the insomniac. But... oh yeah, the hunter. He, I forget. He has a kick-ass blunderbuss, though. That could probably do some serious damage to somebody if it went off by accident. Doppelganger. At the start of the night, you peek at another character, and then become a copy of that character. This is confusing, but leads to some really funny situations. Doppelganger, no, just no, Jordan. We've already talked about it. This is the 3rd time, and it wasn't funny 1, 2, or 3. I'm not saying it. Doppelganger, I hardly knew her. Third time's the charm. As a side note, this game has great replay value. It's a different experience with every group of friends, every group size, and every set of characters that you play with. There are also expansions that add some crazy new villager roles and even some new werewolf roles into the mix. So that's One Night Ultimate Werewolf, a game where you learn just how well your friends can lie to you, and after that, it's every wolf for themselves. Tune in on Thursday, and only on Thursday, to watch things get hairy as we play it as a drinking game. But before you do, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, click the like button if you actually like this video, and if you're having a particularly hard time sleeping, why not leave a comment telling us what games we should play next? I'll see you next time, but until then, play responsibly. Forbidden Island, the land where using your eye is forbidden. Close your eyes, fellow villagers. It's nighttime. Sounded like a spaceship powering up. I got trapped.